Today's lesson is booking a ride. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to continue talking about booking a ride. We have the example of Molly in New York City, and she's making arrangements with a taxi driver to make some changes to her schedule. And you may be able to use this information yourself if you travel to other countries and you want to book a ride or arrange transportation.
Yes, yesterday Molly was calling for a taxi or a ride to pick her up. Everything seemed to be going fairly smoothly until there was a bit of a delay in our second dialogue. Traffic was getting backed up there in busy downtown Manhattan, where Molly is visiting, as traffic does in busy downtown Manhattan because it is so busy. So the taxi driver called her to say that he'd be about 15 minutes late, but they found a workable solution to that. Molly would walk a block or two to a busier corner where the taxi can pick her up, and then there would only be a shorter 10-minute delay, so that seemed to work out for both of them. So let's check out our dialogues for today. The first one that we have here is titled A Long Wait. And we're back with Molly. I guess she's still in New York or something's going on, but we're going to have to find out why she is waiting by reading our dialogue. So let's do that now, and then we'll be back to talk about it. 3. A long wait. Molly calls customer service when she has trouble with a ride-hailing app.
Hi, I was trying to book a taxi through your app to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but the wait time is very long.
Our apologies for that. Unfortunately, we're experiencing high demand right now, and it might take another 20 minutes for a driver to accept the booking.
Well, are there any other options available?
Yes, you could switch to our ride-sharing service. It should get you a car faster since we pool resources differently for those rides.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll just switch to the ride-sharing service.
Okay, glad I could help.
大家好，第一部分介绍形容词 ride-hailing， 它的意思是预约车辆的、叫车的。例如 ，ride-hailing apps have revolutionized urban transportation。预约车辆应用程式彻底改革了城市交通。或者 Daisy used a ride-hailing app to get to the airport on time. Daisy 使用叫车应用程式准时抵达机场。接着看到名词 app， 表示应用程式。例如 This app allows you to monitor your daily exercise. 这个应用程式让你可以监控你的日常运动。或是 Why don't you download the app instead of using the website? 你为什么不下载应用程式而是使用网站？继续看到形容词 metropolitan， 它的意思是大都会的。例如 The city boasts a modern and metropolitan lifestyle. 这座城市拥有现代而都会的生活方式。也可以说 Metropolitan areas usually offer more public transportation. 大都会地区通常提供较多的大众交通运输工具。再来介绍名词 apology， 表示道歉或是认错。我们可以说The politician made a formal apology for his earlier remarks. 这位政治家为他的早期言论正式道歉。另外，补充相关动词 apologize, A-P-O-L-O-G-I-Z-E, apologize. 举个例子 You'll make things worse if you don't apologize. 如果你不道歉，事情会变得更糟。或是 You should apologize to your friend for hurting his feelings. 你应该向你的朋友道歉，因为你伤害他的感情。继续看到形容词 ride-sharing， 指的是共乘。举例来说 The ride-sharing service helps reduce traffic congestion. 共乘服务有助于减少交通堵塞。或者 Ride-sharing platforms match passengers with other riders going the same way. 共乘平台将乘客与顺路的其他乘客互相搭配。
Okay, so conversation 3 is entitled A Long Wait, which means it's a period of time in which you have to wait for something to happen. You might be waiting for someone to arrive. You might be waiting for the doctor. In any case, it's a long wait. And Molly calls customer service when she has trouble with a ride-hailing app. App here just means application, a computer program on your phone to make things more convenient. And it's a ride-hailing app, a computer program on your phone that allows you to hail Transportation. Hail here, H-A-I-L, does not refer to the little balls of ice that fall from the sky in the spring before and after a typhoon or a tornado. Sometimes it happens that way. But in any case, if you hail a taxi, that means you're soliciting the taxi, you're calling it, you want it to come over and pick you up.
And we can also use this if you call out to someone. If you see your friend across the street and say, hey, Bob, over here. You're hailing your friend in a similar kind of way. So basically, hailing a taxi in the real word, physically, would be just mean standing at the side of the road and sticking your hand out. As the taxi is coming down, they'll pull over. That means you've hailed that taxi. So these are basically apps that do that for you. They arrange for you and the taxi driver to meet at a certain location at a certain time. I guess you could call them taxi apps if they're connected to a specific company, but a lot of these ride-hailing apps, I'm sure most of you know, like Uber and Lyft, which is popular, and of course they have others in other countries, these are more private things. So it's kind of like how Airbnb, we don't call that a hotel app. We might call that a short-term accommodation app. Hotels provide short-term accommodation, but as a category, as a type of program, or even a type of business like Uber and Lyft, those are not taxi companies, they're ride-hailing companies. So that's why we're using this term. But yes, in the real world, a lot of people might say, oh, let me just use Uber or let me use a taxi app. It's basically doing the same type of thing. We're just being very careful with the language. So that's what she's going to do, but she's having a bit of trouble with this ride-hailing app, or at least with the journey. So let's get into the dialogue and see what Molly's problem is. She says, hi, I was trying to book a taxi through your app to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but the wait time is very long. So she's called customer service here. When you have a problem with a business or the service that they're providing, you can call up and hopefully talk to a real person. These days it might actually be an AI, but of course you're trying to get a little bit of extra help here. And she explained her problem. She's trying to book a taxi or a ride. You could also say, through your app, using the application, this program on my phone, this software that your company has for customers to use. She's trying to get to the Met. The Metropolitan Museum of Art is often shortened down to Met. This is, of course, the largest and most famous of the big art museums in New York. The MoMA, being the Museum of Modern Art, is probably the other one that people might know. But to see the great European classics by the masters, some Da Vinci and Picasso and stuff like that, you would definitely want to check out the Met. It's called the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Basically, metropolitan is the adjective form of the word metropolis, and a metropolis is just a really, really big city. So when we talk about something being metropolitan, it is in or of the big city. So that's basically all we're saying there. They could have called it the New York City Museum of Art, but Metropolitan Museum of Art, or the Met, as I said, is a very nice name and a very lovely title, shortened down to the Met, even easier for tourists to remember. So she wants to go to this museum, the Met, but the wait time is very long. I don't know what the app said, but it might have said things like, you'll have to wait for more than an hour to get a car.
And here the customer service representative says, our apologies for that. We are very sorry about that. Unfortunately, we're experiencing high demand right now, and it might take another 20 minutes for a driver to accept the booking. So an apology is when someone says they're sorry. There are various ways to do this. You could say, I'm extremely sorry, I'm very sorry, or my apologies. You could also say that. Apology, again, is the noun form. To apologize is the verb. I apologize for my shabby behavior.
I'm sorry for that. I apologize. Or, yeah, my apologies. Just another way of saying I'm sorry. So yes, they're sorry about that. They're sorry that she has to wait so long and she's not super happy with the service, but there is a reason. Unfortunately, the customer service representative goes on to tell Molly, unfortunately, we're experiencing high demand right now. A lot of people want taxis right now, and we just don't have quite enough drivers to get everyone where they want when they want. So delays are inevitable. So we're experiencing high demand right now, and it might might take another 20 minutes for a driver to accept the booking. It might take. Notice using that qualifier there, saying hopefully you'll get one in 20 minutes, around 20 minutes. It could actually be 30 or 40 minutes. It's just really busy right now. There's not a whole lot that we can do about that except for you to be patient. And so Molly is kind of a person who wants to get things done. She's a problem solver, we might say. So she says, well, are there any other options available? So she's looking for other solutions that the company might be able to offer her.
Right. Well, here's what the customer service representative suggests. You could switch to our ride-sharing service. Okay, ride-sharing just means you share a ride with other people. Sometimes that is referred to as carpooling, but in this particular case, it's arranged by this company. Carpooling is usually something done privately, but here it's ride-sharing, and that is his suggestion. It should get you a car faster since we pool resources differently for those rides. So if you pool resources, you kind of take resources from different places and then you bring them all together into one place.
You bring them into one place in order to do more with those otherwise limited resources now gathered together. They are even better. So that's why we call it a carpool. As a kid, when I was carpooling to school, I thought we would be swimming in the car on the way to school. Oh. That's not the way it works. But yes, basically you're just gathering your forces. You're getting all of the different things that you have, resources that you have, and you're going to use them collectively in order to get more out of them. So there you go. So she can basically share a ride with other people. They'll find people who are in the south of the city and want to go to the north of the city to different locations. They'll pick those people up. They'll all get where they want to go, but a little bit slower than before. But if you have to wait a long time for a private car, doing a ride-sharing journey might make a lot of sense for you and get you where you want to go much faster. So Molly says that sounds like a good idea. She's probably in a busy part of the city, and she's going to a popular part of the city too. The Metropolitan Museum of Art is home to many other museums. It's near Central Park. This should be pretty fast, and it should be pretty easy to get this ride share together. So she says, that sounds like a good idea. I'll just switch to the ride-sharing service and see what she can find that way. And so the customer service representative wraps up the conversation by saying, okay, glad I could help. So Molly will hopefully get her ride-sharing service app working, and she'll get a ride, and maybe she'll make some new friends along the way.
Yeah, never know who you meet in a carpool or when doing ride sharing. Okay, we're at the end of conversation 3. Let's move on now to conversation 4. It's all about a lost item or lost and found. Let's listen.
4. A lost item. After getting her ride, Molly realizes that she left her wallet in the car and calls customer service again for help. Hi, I got dropped off at the Met about 10 minutes ago, and I think I left my wallet in the car.
I'm sorry to hear that. Let me check your ride details. Are you Molly Price?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, I'll notify the driver and call you back soon.
Thank you.
Hello, Ms. Price. The driver found your wallet. Can we arrange a time to return it to you?
That's great. I'd like another ride later, so could he just bring it then and take me to my next destination?
That should work.
第二部分看到名词 notify， 它表示通知或是告知。我们可以说 Police officials notified Ryan that his stolen bike had been found. 警方通知 Ryan 他被偷的单车找到了。也可以说This letter is to notify you that your subscription needs to be renewed. 这封信是要通知你，你的订阅必须展期了。另外补充这个字的名词 notification, Notification, notification 表示通知书、通告、告示或是通知讯息。可以这么说 The security company receives an immediate notification whenever a home alarm system goes off. 每当有居家警报系统响起时，保全公司都会立即收到通知。最后一个例子 Students received a notification from the school regarding the date of their exam. 学生们收到了关于学校考试日期的通知。
Okay, so again, conversation 4's title is A Lost Item. Something got lost in the taxi, and after getting her ride, Molly realizes that she left her wallet in the car and calls customer service again for help. That could be trouble. Of course, we all rely on our wallets, and of course, we all rely on our phones. So if we leave our phone or our wallet in the car, it could be a big disaster for us. And Molly begins the conversation on the phone. She says, "Hi, I got dropped off at the Met about 10 minutes ago, and I think I left my wallet in the car." So here, if you get dropped off, basically someone drives you to a location, and then you get out of the car. The opposite is to get picked up. I got picked up at this intersection, and then I got dropped off at the museum.
There you go. So that's where you get out of the car at the end of your journey. So this is a very short time after the end of that journey, after she got dropped off or got out of the car at the Met. That's the Metropolitan Museum of Art, of course, where she was headed in our last dialogue. And it was only about 10 minutes ago. So this should hopefully allow her to get her wallet back. She says, "I think I left my wallet in the car." Oh, that's a dreadful feeling. The customer service representative, though, understands this probably happens several times a day, I would imagine. "I'm sorry to hear that," they say, because yes, this can be distressing and stressful for people. This is bad news. "Let me check your ride details." So they're looking up the details of her ride, finding which car she was in, the name of the driver, maybe even where that car and driver are now, in order to contact them and get Molly and her wallet reunited ASAP. But they need to know who they're talking to, which wallet they're looking for. So they ask, "Are you Molly Price?" Because they can probably see her profile there, so they know who she is. And she says, "Yes, that's me." So at least they've identified the right person. And then the customer service representative says, "Okay, I'll notify the driver and call you back soon." So they're going to get in touch with the driver. To notify someone is basically to tell them important information, to let them know about something. If someone sends a memo around your company, the boss or someone wants to notify staff at the company about a new policy or about an event they might be interested in. So basically, if you reach out to give someone important information that they should know, you are notifying that person. So once they get in touch with the driver, they will call Molly back, and she seems quite happy with that.
Well, that's exactly what happens next. The customer service representative calls her back a short time later, and the person on the phone says, "Hello, Ms. Price. The driver found your wallet. Can we arrange a time to return it to you?" Now, remember, when something's missing, you need to look for it first, okay? You don't say, "I'm finding my wallet." That means you actually discovered it and it's back in your possession. Actually, you need to look for it first or to search for the wallet. So they looked for her wallet and then they found it, and so they have her wallet now, and then they ask her if they can arrange a time to return the wallet to her. They'll have to maybe stop by and drop it off if she's still at the Met, or if she's gone someplace else. They're going to make some kind of arrangement for returning the wallet.
All right. Well, Molly, of course, will probably do almost anything to meet anyone, anywhere, anytime to get her wallet back. That's not the kind of thing you're like, "I'll just keep it for 3 days and I'll meet you on Wednesday." No, you probably want to get that back as soon as possible. So Molly says that's great. Great news that they found the wallet, and great news that she'll be able to get it back pretty soon. She says, "I'd like another ride later. So could he just bring it then and take me to my next destination?" Well, that sounds like a very lovely way to solve this. She needs another ride. She's going to call another taxi or another ride later on today, in a few hours maybe, at the end of her visit to the museum. So he can just bring it then. He can meet me here, the same place he dropped me off. He can just bring it then and take me to my next destination. After the museum, she'll be heading off to, I don't know, Broadway to see a show, a restaurant to meet a friend for dinner, wherever. So she'll get another ride with the same driver. And I would bet, since Molly seems like a nice person, that driver will probably get a nice big tip for being such an honest driver, for returning the wallet to Molly, and also for driving her safely around New York City. So the customer service representative also seems to think that this is a very graceful, lovely way to solve this problem. And they say that should work. That sounds like a great solution. I approve. Let's do that.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Here comes our beloved Chinese teacher, Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分的对话一开始就写到 Molly calls customer service when she has trouble with a ride-hailing app. Molly 在使用轿车应用程式时遇到困难，于是她打电话给客服。好，文中她用 have trouble with 加名词去表达遇到困难。我们来补充一下相关用法。Have trouble 或者是 have a hard time，have difficulty 或者是 have problems， 这些用语后面可以接 with 加名词，或者是呢也可以接动词 ing 去表达说难以怎么样，做某事有困难。特别注意 trouble 和 difficulty 是不可数名词，在这边就固定用单数型的用法。好，来看两个例句。Jenny is having difficulty with her homework.Jenny 在写作业时遇到困难。Jake's had trouble finding a stable job. Jake 一直难以找到稳定的工作。好，那相反的我们可以用 have no problems 或者是 have no trouble, have no difficulty doing something 去表达说做某事没有问题，没有困难。或者是也可以用 have an easy time doing something 去表达做某事很容易，毫无困难。例如 We had no trouble finding a parking space.我们找停车位没有困难，轻轻松松就找到了。好，再看一个是 He had an easy time beating his opponent. 他轻轻松松就打败对手了。最后补充一下，我们刚刚学到 have a hard time 的用法，可是如果是 give somebody a hard time， 这则是表达找某人麻烦，刁难某人，让某人不好过的意思哦。好，那么对话里面的客服人员向 Molly 说明，现在轿车的需求量很大，可能还需要20分钟才能有司机接受预定。他建议 Molly 可以改用共乘服务。那由于他们是以不同的方式来调配乘车资源，它应该可以让你更快的订到车。那文中它是用 since 当连接词去引导原因子句，表达因为啊、由于或者是既然的语义。例如They decided to go for a walk since it was a nice day. 由于天气很好，他们决定去散步。那其他还有一些意思相近的用法，像 now that 或者是 seeing that 等等，用来指出已知的原因。我们这边就来造两个例句。第一个例句是Now that you've graduated, it's time to start looking for a job. 既然你已经毕业了，该开始找工作咯。好，第二个例句是Seeing that you've already made your decision, there's no point in discussing this. 既然你都已经做好决定，讨论这件事也没什么意义了。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单词吧。
App. Lauren uses a fitness app to track her workouts. Metropolitan.The metropolitan area is known for its cultural diversity. Apology. Deanna sends her apologies for missing the meeting. Notify. They notified the police immediately after the accident.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.